Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $20 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. All around you.
Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another segment of, I still don't know what this segment's going to be called, but welcome back. In this segment, we analyze, we explore, we investigate the differences between books and movies. So I am really excited today for
The Jungle Book.
No. You ready? You want
I'm
me
ready.
to say it, or we want me to pull it out?
We are just the Filmistines,
We know nothing about anything.
except we know how to read, or at least one of us does.
And we know how to speak, I guess.
We know how to open our mouths and have words come out and
Yeah.
have them somewhat coherent.
Yeah. Someone can understand us.
Can we understand each other? Can you understand me?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
that's good. Sometimes it's pretty good.
Sometimes
I can't understand literally everything that comes out of some
Yeah.
people's mouths. I'm like, not really
Exactly.
sure what you're saying, but I'm just gonna nod and grin, especially like British people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Smile and wave.
Tao.
Tao? What is
I'm
that?
like, I don't know what that is.
Hello?
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 You ain't that tattoo. See, I'm like, what?
Hmm.
How are you doing today, though?
I'm feeling a bit under the weather. Why is that an expression? Under the weather.
Yeah, we're always under the weather.
Yeah.
The weather happens above us.
Exactly. So why are we under the weather?
It's kind of silly.
That's a very silly expression. But, sinus season, allergy season, the worst.
That's all year in Mississippi for different people. I used to have it real bad in September. That was my month.
Yeah.
But
October.
I haven't. October for 2
Yeah.
You get it twice a year?
Oh, I get it
4 or
3
5
times
times.
a year. At least 3 times. If I got it 3 times, I considered it a good year.
Good. Yeah, I hardly get it really at all anymore. Runny
Lucky.
nose here and there. A little bit of mucus, but
No, it's the
never
pressure.
bothers me.
Pressure
Yeah, no
that
pressure
kills
really
me.
anymore.
Oof.
Yeah, I hear that.
But anyways,
I heard that you have a surprise for me
I
today.
do have a surprise for you. I am so excited for this episode. Are you ready for...
I'm ready. I don't know what she's about to say. I don't know what book she's about to whip out. She says I'm going to be shocked, and I've tried my hardest to not strangle it out of her because I want to know.
So for today's episode, we are covering Jaws.
Jaws. Oh my God. What was that? Was that the Jaws sound?
That was an attempt of the Jaws sound.
It's like dun
There you go.
dun
See, my version was the sped up version.
dun dun dun.
Yeah, the ending where it's already super intense. No build up.
There's a book.
Yes, there's a book. So the book was published in February 1974 by Peter Benchley. The book has 278 pages. So not a big
Small book.
Yeah, not a big book. Let me pull out the book so you can look at the cover. And that's not the original cover.
I figured, yeah.
This is the original cover is actually hilarious. And, I'll try to show you sometime. But the Jaws Bruce dude, which he doesn't have a name in the book. No.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But he just basically looks like a torpedo attacking what could possibly be a figure of a girl at the top. So it's rough looking, the first
Was
cover.
it illustrated by the author?
No, it was not illustrated by the author. But it could have been.
Yeah, I wouldn't have claimed that as the cover designer.
So the movie released in June 1975.
Big hit.
So it's about like a year, a few months
Yeah,
after
so they
the book
were
came out.
they were happening concurrently. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so the film producers actually read the book before it came out in publication.
Yeah.
And then they bought the movie rights, and then they bought a bunch of books as soon as it came out, and then gave it out to everybody.
That's cool.
So it was kind of like when your book releases, you have your own like advertising for it with the movie. I mean, I thought it was really cool. I didn't know any of this happened. I guess I wasn't there when the movie came out. I wasn't even an idea.
That's true, yeah. Your dad was 6.
He was 6?
He was born in 69, right?
69, yeah.
So he was about 6 years old.
Holy crap. He didn't know nothing. He didn't even know he was going to be a father.
That's true.
So the book and the movie share the same premise. A great white shark attacking a resort beach town place during the summer. There are 3 brave or stupid men, however you want to say.
Brave is a lot of times kind of stupid.
Yeah, okay. They're trying to catch it and kill it. But the book has a lot of, details and elements that the movie... I don't want to say the movie misses, because I don't think it's a miss. I think this movie is an awesome film by itself without any of the extra details from the book. But I do think some of these details are pretty like juicy and kind of awesome to read as like a companion piece of what could have been for this film. So he was inspired by sharks. Apparently, Peter eventually went to Nantucket a lot in the summers, and there was a lot of wildlife, and then a lot of water wildlife, I guess.
Marine life.
Yeah, marine life. There you go. Thank you. And I guess that kind of got him thinking about sharks, and what if there was this giant shark that attacked a town and just wouldn't go away, like kind of that scary plot, and that kind of sparked.
Yeah, worst case scenario for getting in the water or swimming in the water.
Yeah, so he was inspired by this other film called Blue Water White Death, and he claims it's like the best shark movie to have ever.
Blue Water White Death?
Yes, and it's by this guy named Peter Gimble. And then he was also inspired by this book called Blue Meridian by also another guy named Peter. So I just thought it was funny that the movie, this additional book, and then Jaws were all written by
a guy named Peter.
Peters.
That's funny.
I guess Peters, if you're a Peter, you're
it's a common name, it sounds like.
A shark dude.
Right, really. A shark dude, yeah.
You're a water dude.
That's funny.
And at the time that this was written, nobody really knew anything about sharks. Shark knowledge wasn't as advanced as it is now, obviously. So he mentioned in the introduction of his book how if he would never rewrite a book like this because he doesn't give the shark enough justice, and I don't know.
He said that? He's gone on the record and say that?
Yeah. It's
Who the fuck was asking him?
Introduction of his book.
What? It's a piece of fiction. Come on.
But I guess he wasn't really confident.
He wasn't
about the book
wow.
because
Who caught wind of the book to make people who were involved in making the movie?
I'm not sure.
Because that person, needs a raise.
Yeah, that person brought it to Spielberg. I thought I wrote his name down, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, he wasn't confident about this book because not only was it his first book, but it was a book about fish, and who was gonna read that? But it really helped that the movie was coming out. And then when the book did come out, a lot of critics went overboard with a lot of the comments saying about how it was a book about capitalism, and
that's cool.
It was how do you say that, like allegory or representation or something of the Watergate scandal, and
that's cool.
They were like,
got that out of that.
Huh? Yeah, like people were getting this, and he's just
cool.
like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Say what you want, but I just wrote this.
That's a sign of a successful piece of art, getting those kind of angles out of it. Yeah. That's very nice. Very nice.
Men bonding, and I mean, he was getting all these things from critics, and he was just like, all right, keep keep commenting.
And the movie definitely ran away with some of that.
Yeah, I agree. So in the introduction of the book, he also wants to say that there's 2 shark facts that he knows now, and that's why he would never, recreate this book. The first one is that sharks avoid humans whenever possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why something like this wouldn't happen.
Man, who was asking him about would you change this? Do you feel like you have the need to to make this more accurate? What? Who the fuck was asking him that?
And at what point do authors feel like they need to put in introductions? Is it when they come out with the next edition?
As far as fiction, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No idea.
I've come across a lot of books, like in Ender's Game that we covered last time. He states in his introduction, he's like, I don't really think this book needs an introduction, but I was forced to write an introduction, so here's my introduction.
Maybe it's an editor thing. Maybe it's just a modern, in the last 20 years type thing where we need that. He wrote the introduction? Peter did? He wrote his own introduction?
Yeah, he wrote the introduction. I guess that's right. That's a good point. Some books have the introductions written by other people.
Usually some editor or friend or colleague type thing. Yeah, it seems like a lot of classics often will have introductions, especially like a lot of books that are allegorical and have some kind of philosophy embedded in it. A lot of them have introductions like Ayn Rand stuff or David Foster Wallace.
Yeah, I guess, and we are talking about fiction, so.
Did it have a table of contents? That's pretty uncommon too, for a piece of fiction to have a table of contents, right?
I don't think it did.
Because I'm always quick. That's what I always open, the table of contents in a book. Check it out.
Okay, so this does have a table of contents, only because at the end there is some bonus content stuff.
Okay.
So it's the introduction, the content, it's
pretty bare.
Here's the introduction, here's where the book starts, and then here's the bonus content.
Okay, yeah. So hardly anything.
Yeah, hardly anything. So I want to start off with the characters. So we have our main guy, Brody. And in the movie, he's heroic. He's
sort of, yeah. They give him a pretty good flaw. They make him afraid of water.
Yeah.
And he lives on an island.
He is afraid of water in the book too. So
yeah, that's good.
That's good they kept that. And he's a good guy. He's just trying to do good. He's trying to save people. But in the book, they kind of make him go through a midlife crisis sort of feel.
Yeah.
And he's just really concerned about getting old. And
so a little more of a character study already.
Yeah. He's extremely reminiscent of his youth. He's having dreams of making out with his high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's super jealous of Cooper.
Who's Cooper?
I mean Hooper. Oh my god.
Oh, Hooper.
I put Cooper in my notes.
Why'd you put Cooper?
Because I'm dumb. I'm a Filmstein.
I thought you were thinking of Agent Dale Cooper.
Oh, that's funny. No. I put Hooper. Maybe stupid autocorrect corrected it when I typed it. But yeah, he was super jealous of Hooper. And he looks at girls at the beach and he's always thinking about and I mean not only the girls, the boys too. He's like, oh, look at them with their blemish-free skin and their tanned legs and their perky boobs, This guy, I mean, they go a little hard on him, missing his youth, missing out kind of. Hooper, I didn't know really how to describe him in the movie. Maybe you can help me out with this. But in the book, they make him tall, dark, and handsome. He's very good looking, very rich. I know in the film he's kind of a little bit of a know-it-all, kind of even pretentious about his.
Yeah, it comes across kind of like the son from Tetris that we just watched. Little maybe in over his head, thinks he's a know-it-all. It comes from money.
Mm-hmm.
Has an in quotes education, but it's never not a lot of boots on the ground experience.
Yeah. And in the book, he's kind of like that too.
Kind of like that too. I wouldn't call him tall and handsome in the movie.
No,
he's kind of a nerd, right?
He's 20, 22, something like that. He's super young, mid-20s or younger. Yeah. He's blonde. He's got this beautiful eyes. They go very detailed in his looks, and that gives a reason on Brody being like extremely jelly.
Yeah.
They hate each other in the book.
Hmm.
Which is, the bromance is something from the movie that I like.
Of course, yeah.
So that was a bit different. Them just hating each other, have nothing to want to do anything with each other. They just have to kill the shark, and they need each other.
It sounds like the author took the angle of these unlikely heroes coming together to finish their quest.
Mm-hmm.
He took that angle, to the nth plus one degree. And in the movie, we didn't. It's still similar to that, but it is more of a kind of
bonding,
a man to man bonding experience, and I mean, it's just kind of expresses a lot of masculinity, the whole experience, and we get a little bit of texture out of everyone, especially Quint. We probably get the most texture out of Quint in the movie. Personally, we probably get a lot out of the book.
Oh man, just you wait till I get to Quint. Next I have on my character is Ellen, Brody's wife, which we don't get much of her in the film, but in the book she's a big character. She comes from the rich Summer community. Her parents were rich, so the reason she knows Amity is because that's where they summered every year. She's friends with all the rich people, and then she married Brody, who is not a rich person. He lives in the town, so he's broke, he's poor, he's one of the ones relying on the rich people to come in to give the tourism money to the town.
So they didn't come from New York in the book.
So they didn't come from New York. She did, I guess.
Well, she did, yeah, but they didn't together. They didn't move from proper New York to the island, off the coast. Wow, okay.
And also, minor, very minor, but in the book they have 3 kids. In the film they only give them 2 kids, which is weird. In the book they're not important either. They just we see them like 3 or 4 times when they're having dinner, if we even see them that much. And in the movie, I mean, we have a couple of scenes with them, but why give them one less child? Is it just one less child to work with?
Yeah, that might have been the case.
Yeah,
that absolutely may have been the case. I guess we have that one scene with Michael in the water on his boat. Yeah. That's kind of the whole point of them being included in the movie. Yeah. Is that one bit. And to build like tension of like your kids are in the water.
Right.
For the movie to really hit home, your main character needs kids. If it's gonna be a resort town, everybody's playing in the water. Your main character's gotta have kids.
He needs to protect. Yeah. All right. So Quint doesn't show up until like the very end of the book. Basically, we have no Quint. He's mentioned maybe one time, like, oh yeah, that fisherman that might be able to help us, and like that's it until the very end. And in the book, he's very reserved, very quiet. He's got some one-liners that are pretty funny. He's pretty funny in the book.
Did they take anything out of the book, quote-wise, for Quint?
No, like...
Because he's got great lines in the movie, too.
Yes, he does, and he does it in the book. Like,
wow.
They did him awesome in the film. Like, Quint is my favorite character in the film. Not in the book. Not at all. So, I mean, I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they gave him,
That's funny because Quint almost didn't do the movie too. The character, so Paul Newman, is that his name?
No,
What's his?
Robert Shaw. No.
Robert Shaw. Yeah.
Robert Shaw.
He thought it was stupid. Thought the script was stupid. Because he comes from a very proper theatrical background.
Oh, okay.
He did a lot of Shakespeare, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right.
And so he did not see this going anywhere, which was I'm glad I'm personally glad he stuck with it because he's awesome, but he probably also made a lot of money and got a lot of exposure, although he did pass away, I think, 2 years after this film.
Yeah.
So, but he was part of the revolution, the spear tip of what blockbusters would, go on to look like.
Wow.
And he became, because, Jaws is arguably, the first blockbuster ever. And at the time, before Star Wars happened in 1979 or whatever, would make the most money ever out of a film too. So it was a big deal, and it was the first film ever advertised on TV, and it just kind of revolutionized. It modernized what we now know, how we kind of understand what movies look like.
Yeah.
From trailers and ads being everywhere, and just the whole cycle of it all. It's very important film.
That's
And awesome film. Thank God.
yeah.
It's an important film and awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Quint is probably a lot of people's favorite character, and he's got this like awesome monologue. I mean, he's awesome in the film, but not in the book. Nope. Like, I will be surprised if Quint is anyone's favorite character in the book.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Our next character is Harry Meadows, which I'll be surprised if you even know who that is.
Is that the mayor?
No, that's Larry Vaughn. Harry Meadows is also very important in the book, and I think he was maybe mentioned one time in the movie, if he was at all. He's the newspaper editor, and the police and the newspaper, the media, play a huge role in the book, and their relationship, on how they kind of try to cover each other's asses, and when it doesn't work out, like they throw each other under the bus. I mean, he's very important. He's a big guy. He eats a lot. He's very outspoken, and I don't think we got any of that in the film. So
I don't remember him at all.
Which I guess they didn't try to play into any of those elements that he's a part of in the book, so it makes sense not to have him in the film. And then we do have Larry Vaughn, also plays a big part in the book. He's the mayor, and he's got a very shady past in the book.
That makes sense.
He is very adamant about keeping the beaches open, like he is in the film.
Yeah, he's the for the first hour of the film, he's the hurdle. He is the shark. He's the land shark.
Yeah.
And they gotta take him down before they can get a crew together and risk their lives, and him be okay with that.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what he is in the book, except in the book we get a little bit on why he's doing that. More of a background, not just money.
Yeah, in the movie he's definitely just a representative of corporatism.
Yeah. The book gives him a bit more.
Makes him a little more human.
Yeah. Well, no.
Not totally, but
not totally. But I mean, reading the book overall, I thought it was a great book.
That's good.
It was very dark in the descriptions on how the deaths happen, and there are multiple deaths in the book. As opposed to the movie, I think there's only 2. I think there's the girl in the beginning and Alex, the little boy. I don't think there's any more. Besides, the end.
That dog, I guess.
That's right. The dog. And surprisingly...
Oh, the guy where Michael was in the pond, and the guy was like in a canoe or whatever, a kayak, and the shark was coming up behind him, and he was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" He got to.
He got to. Okay.
So like three people in the first half.
Okay.
And then Quint, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. In the book, there's a few more deaths. Not quite as many as you would think. The book has some pretty great lines. It made me laugh. Didn't make me cry, which I don't think that was its intent. It's just a suspenseful book, which is a very suspenseful film, and that's really an element that can get captured better in film.
Yeah, especially because you can see how dire things are becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And the book was because there's a point in the movie, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes before it ends, it almost feels like they're not gonna win.
You get that in the book.
You do.
But funny you say that, because in the film they go out to sea to get the shark, and they're there until they get him. In the book,
they come back home.
They come back home every night, and it takes them like 3 or 4 days to kill the shark. But
oh man,
they're out there for hours trying to get him, and they're like, today's not the day, guys. Let's go home. And then they go home and sleep in their own beds, and then come back and try again.
So Quentin doesn't break the radio in the book.
No, he doesn't break the radio in the book.
Yeah, because we kind of have a. So I guess Quentin doesn't have this like thing to prove in the world. That's funny. They really took a completely different turn with Quentin.
He did for a couple of sections, that because he's like in the film, he's trying to get paid for this. That's his big thing. Like, I'm a fisherman, I'm gonna do this job for you, I'm gonna get paid as much money as I can get out of you. I think they gave him like $400 or $200 something a day or something like that, for however long it takes him to catch it. And then at some point he's like, screw the money, I just want to get this motherfucker. So he does have a little bit of that, but that's about it.
He's not crazy though.
He doesn't get too crazy, no.
Because he's like borderline kind of unstable in the movie.
His big thing,
especially when he reveals his past, it's like, what?
Yeah, he has no past in the book, which is lame.
Yeah.
But
that's so funny. That's so funny that they
his big thing is, fish are just dumb. Any fish is catchable. And then he kind of goes into this, I'm catching him.
Wow. Because it's, again, that's complete opposite. He respects the hell out of Bruce.
Yeah.
In the movie.
I think that was part of Peter, when he heard about the film. And I think Spielberg gave him some of the script and let him like take a look at it, let him, kind of collaborate. And he told him like, hey, okay, I know in the book I kind of made him this like fish that's just kind of a man killing fish, but can we give him a little bit more? Can we respect his intelligence a little bit more in the film? And I think they did that. Unlike the book, he's just a dumb fish, which I think Quint in the book also appreciates, because he spends the whole time telling Brody and Hooper like, this is just a dumb fish, we got to catch him. And then Hooper's kind of like, but they're pretty smart. He's like, no, that's just, there's no smartness to them, that's just how they are. Like,
they're just a machine.
And then, I mean, even till his death, which he does die in the book, he's still like, well, it's just a fish. That's good that they gave him the fish, the shark, some intelligence. But the book is also a little bit raunchy. It's a little like sexual in some scenes, some parts, which kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, the only ounce of that we get in the movie is the first 5 minutes, but it doesn't go anywhere because the girl dies immediately, you know. But it's teenagers, they're getting naked, they're getting the water, and then dead.
Yeah, so Brody Martin, and some of the other cops are reading books called, I think the book he was reading was called Deadly Virgin or something, and just kind of like small sexual things like that, like when the girl died, they're like, well, was she on her period? Like, what was she doing? And then when they go to find the girl, when they're looking for her, they see her clothes out there, because in the book, the guy and the girl are, they're having sex and their clothes are gone. And then after they're done, the guy's like, I'm gonna take a quick nap, and she's like, I'm gonna go out swimming before we go back inside. And so her clothes are laying on the ground, and they're like, do we just have a hot naked girl walking around in town? Like, what is this?
That's funny. Yeah, I could see Steven Spielberg kind of vetoing that, because his films are not in any way erotic. I don't think any of his films have any ounce of eroticism.
Huh.
Yeah, he's pretty family friendly on some level. Well, I guess Jaws, I would say Jaws is pretty family friendly, but it's not, I don't know.
Yeah, besides the jump scare, which I think that's pretty family friendly. You should always...
Yeah, I would have a hard time defining family friendly, to be honest. Like, it's just...
But I can see some mom just, you scared my kid. Like, now he won't get in the water. I don't know.
You remember the scare in the movie when Hooper's down looking at the...
Yes. I'm telling you, that's one of the very few jump scares that have made me scream out loud. Like, I'll jump. I'm quick to jump.
All day jumping.
Yeah, all day jumping. I'm quick to jump during a jump scare. But scream out loud?
That was awesome.
That's on a whole nother level. And I can't remember who I saw in an interview that loved the film so much that they would take their friends to go watch it, or watch it at home or whatever, and they're just watching them during that jump scare, like waiting for them to get scared. So
that's funny. It's pretty unexpected.
Yeah. I can only imagine how it went.
That's funny.
In the movie theater.
Yeah. Especially in 75.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I think The Exorcist came out in 74.
Okay.
So we didn't. I mean, scary stuff was just getting going. There was before that. I don't know if anything was even scary. Rosemary's Baby. I don't know. It's a good film. That'd be a good remake of a film today by Ari Aster, of course.
Have I seen that? I don't know.
Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
Probably not. I think it came out in 1969, 1970.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the first. It's not. I don't know. It's probably not the first, but it's like the first big Satanist film.
Oh, okay.
Like with demons and stuff. It's very cool, but it's very old.
It's too old now to.
Yeah, it's hard to
creep me
watch.
out.
It's hard to watch. You gotta be ready for that kind of thing. Yeah, I can't just put it on but I could see a remake of just like Alien and The Exorcist. I can see a remake of those working so well today. Oh my god, especially with some practical effects.
Yeah.
And Alien. Oh my god, they can just reuse the ships in Alien. Just give us a little bit of acting with the side characters and a better Alien, and we've got a masterpiece on our hands.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. So one of the biggest plots in the book is Brody and Ellen's marriage.
Okay.
Which
different.
Very different. And she's unhappy. She hates his guts. I mean, they got married like 4 months after they met each other.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And at first she was like, oh, I like him because he's a very simple,
masculine.
I mean, he was a cop, so that kind of like, she liked that. That turned her on a bit, that he was a cop. He was just simple. And when they first started dating, he was just like, yeah, all I want in life is to, have a couple kids, take them fishing, and maybe vacation every 2 or 3 years. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is so different from, the elite circle and blah, blah, blah. So they got married. And, it hit her that he couldn't support the lifestyle that she had, and she thought she was going to be okay with that, but then she wasn't. So she's very unhappy. She hates her life. They're always bickering. Like, there's never a moment when they're not bickering. And I guess except the end. But
yeah. You kind of get I feel like you get a little bit of a neutral feeling between them. I can't remember any loving moments. It seems pretty neutral in the film. It could go one way or the other.
Yeah, if it's not neutral, it's a little bit more on the, happier side. She's kind of supportive of what he wants to do in the film. She goes and sees him off when he's going to go on the ship. They're together. They take the kids to the beach together. I mean, I don't see any like hand holding, kissing, but I think it's a happy marriage.
They're friends.
Content. Yeah, they're friends. And there's seasonal depression, and for Ellen, her seasonal depression is summertime is when she gets the most depressed, because she sees all these rich people in town, and it's like what could have been moments. So she was happy for a little bit after she had the kids, and then they went to school, and then she was like completely depressed again. So out of their whole entire marriage, she was not happy besides the beginning for a little bit, and then after her few years when she had her kids, and then that's it. So that's a very different point, which again, I'm so glad they don't put that in the film, because
it would have been too much.
Yeah, it would have been too much. This film is not about Brody and Ellen's marriage.
They took an angle and they ran with it.
Yeah.
And they stuck to it.
Which I like that. I like that. And so with that being said, Ellen dated Hooper's older brother, David, I think that's his name. So they kind of had a little like know each other moment, like, oh, I know you were so and so's little kid, and he's like, yeah, I remember you were his hot girlfriend. Like was also a thing in the book that Ellen still kept a lot of her youth, and she still looks very like she's still really good looking, and that makes Brody even more mad and jealous that she kept her looks, and he's like over here with a beer belly and getting old, and she's still hot. But another huge thing in the book is that Ellen has an affair with Hooper. And that's where a lot of the raunchiness comes into. They meet up at a diner, and she's trying to like get him to hook up with her so she can just relive her past, or I don't know, whatever you do when you're older and you're trying to sleep with younger kids. I don't know.
Younger kids.
Younger men, I guess. He's not a child. That would be a different story.
That would be a different story.
But they're talking about like each other's fantasies, and Ellen's like, yeah, one of my fantasies is to get raped, and get raped by like a black guy, because I heard like their manhood is bigger and like all these things, and I'm like, whoa, what am I reading? So none of that is included in the film. So it was just funny. It was just like almost like they have nothing to do with each other. But that was a big plot twist, I guess. And then after they're having the affair, Brody hates Hooper even more, because he's very suspicious on, hey, where were you Wednesday? And then he was like, oh, I was just at the hotel. And then Ellen's like, he asked Ellen, where were you? Because you were supposed to be at work, but they called me and asked me if you were okay, if you were feeling better. So when I called the house, you weren't there. And she's like, oh, I was just asleep. So, that kind of sparks a lot of hatred towards Hooper.
Yeah.
And there's some moments where Hooper's like almost about to tell him, like, yeah, I'm sleeping with your wife, dude. And Hooper like strangles him. I mean, there's violence. And it happens on the ship. And so Quint's like, he's having a laugh at that. So, just bits and pieces of what Quint could have been. And then I guess I did talk about the relationship between the media and the police, that they have this, they call it the amity understanding. And I don't think that was brought up in the film.
No, I don't think so.
But it's basically an understanding of you do whatever you got to do for the good of the community.
Yeah.
And
they definitely played into that a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of all at the mayor's, all in the, the
right.
mayor's call.
Yeah, in the book, it's everybody. Everybody in the town is doing this because they rely on the tourists. I mean, I don't know how much percentage of the money they get during the summer gets them through the year. If they have a bad summer, they have a bad winter. So it's...
Yeah, I can't even imagine. It's probably a lot.
Yeah, it's all hands on deck during the summer. And, closing the beaches to the shark is hurting everybody. I mean, some places are closing. There's actual shops closing, and, people are getting fired. So there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of anger, and, a lot more pressure for Brody to do the right thing, but also look out for the community, which we do see that in the film. Both sides, both pressures coming in.
Yep, absolutely. Struggles with that.
I think in the book there's 4 or 5 deaths. The lady in the beginning, and then the little boy. There's the old guy too that dies like 2 minutes after the little boy. He went, got the little boy, and then circled around and got the old man.
That's hilarious.
It's just funny. And there's a guy that Brody sends out to go kill the shark. His name's Ben Gardner. And
that sounds familiar.
Oh, he's probably in the film. But he sends him to go get the shark, and the shark gets him, and then Brody just feels like super guilty, because he's like, dang, if I wasn't so scared of the water, I'd go out there myself. But he sent this guy out, and now this guy's wife hates him. Like, a lot more drama. So Quint also dies in the book, and his death is it sucks. His death is so anticlimactic in the book. He dies. He harpoons the shark, and then the rope gets tied around his leg.
And he gets pulled in.
And that's it. That's Quint's death.
That's the last you see of him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Man, who took the Quint angle and was like, this is going to be the star? Who did that?
I know.
That's awesome.
It's like the book did him dirty, and the film's like, no, we gotta, this guy, he's got something. Let's give him whatever he's got.
Yeah. That's like a proper adaptation.
Yeah.
It's not it's not a movie remake or anything. Like so many, in quotes, adaptations try to do, like Ender's Game. They just tried to put in as much as they can with no
creativity.
No creativity, but no, like, forethought to, like, know where this might go. You know, they killed it before it even arrived. And then Jaws, you know, I don't know if anyone ever thought Jaws is really going anywhere other. Obviously, you had some
remakes.
Has-been directors, not remakes, but some has-been directors trying to capitalize on Jaws. One with the sequels.
Yeah.
Even Brody's actor was like, yeah, I'll sign up for number 2 because he did. Probably didn't make any money. Oh, he probably made a little bit of money, but because of the craziness of Jaws 1, you know, that movie, I think that film made over $1 billion, accounting for inflation today.
Gosh.
So it's a big hit. Especially because, you know, there weren't as many theaters back then as there are today.
That's true.
So it's even crazier.
Well, another death that did not happen in the film is Hooper. Hooper dies.
Yeah, they kind of tease us with that a little bit. It looks like he's getting away, but then he doesn't show for a few minutes, and you're like, oh shit. So he dies. So
that's kind of how he dies. He was in his cage. His cage. That the last day, the 3rd or 4th day, he's like, I'm bringing this cage. And Brody's like hell you are. Like, no, you're not bringing that in here. And Quint's like, no, you're not bringing that. No. And then Brody's like, or Hooper's like, I'll pay you. And then Quint's like, okay, maybe I'll think about it. And then he offers him a lot of money. He's like, okay, all right, bring it in. You know, you want to die, you die. All right, whatever. And they bring the cage. He gets in the cage. And exactly like it happened in the film, the shark gets through it and then eats him. He chomps down on his torso.
Straight up eats him in the cage.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Chomps down on his torso. And then Hooper's like, oh, I feel this pressure. And then dies. And then the shark continues. So he's dead. There's no questioning in the book. Like, hey, maybe he survived. No, he's gone. So I thought that was cool. So Brody's the only survivor.
Did he blow him up?
No. Also, one of the biggest letdowns.
It's a pretty iconic part of the movie, too.
Exactly.
That's crazy. There's
the two most iconic. So they get a few harpoons in him. I mean, they're trying to kill this guy since day 1. So he's hurt. The shark is hurt. Until the very end, he's mega hurt. And
do they use the barrels?
They do use the barrels. And I think there's a line where Quint says why he's using the barrels. But it was basically to tell him, where he was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they do use the barrels. And there's also a few bait animals that they bring along. And that was a little sad to read about. But, you know, they bring a sheep to feed the shark a sheep to lure him in. And then they have a baby octopus. And, I mean...
So they just toss him in the water?
Yeah, and then... It's like, where did you get these things, Quint?
That's funny.
And then... Hooper's like, you know, it's illegal to hunt dolphin. How did you get a baby? What did I say it was?
Octopus.
So they did have baby octopus. They also had a baby dolphin. And then Hooper's like, where did you get a baby dolphin? And he's like, don't worry about it. Like, what do you think? From
the ocean.
A mama. Like, yeah. It was a fetus dolphin.
Oh my God.
Not even just a baby, you know. It was a fetus. It was unborn. Yeah.
So he caught a mama dolphin.
Yeah.
It was in there.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna save this for last.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was super creepy.
I could see that working pretty well in the movie.
I know. That would have been cool, but maybe they didn't want to put an unborn dolphin on film.
That would have been pretty shocking probably for a lot of people.
Yeah. Hooper's like, that's illegal. It's like, and who's asking you? That, you know, some funny moments like that. And, you know, Bruce himself, anticlimactic death. He's just hurt. And he's about to get Brody at the very end. And then he just sinks into the ocean because he's hurt. And Brody, that's how he makes it out alive. So it's like, wow, no, nothing blowing up. No, super anticlimactic.
So how does the shark die?
He's hurt.
He just dies of exhaustion and bleeding out.
Yeah, and he just sinks to the bottom.
Dang.
Like, that's it.
Yeah. There's definitely a very happy moment at the end of...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a Shakespeare kind of thing, too, is the happy ending. Not Shakespeare, Spielberg.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
like Shakespeare.
not Shakespeare.
I gotta think about that one for a
Yeah,
second.
hang on. I'm in Spielberg. It's like, what?
But yeah, like super anticlimactic, and it's like, okay, well, Brody goes home, and then Ellen realizes that she didn't need this
She hates her life.
boy, and like she all of a sudden appreciates Brody.
Oh, she appreciates him.
Yeah, she appreciates him a little more, but he is mad. So they didn't continue this for me, so I gotta kind of fill in the gaps of whether he stays mad or they forgive each other or what.
Yeah.
So
The sharks have not been killed at home.
yeah,
Is there a second book?
I don't think so.
I'd assume not for this.
I didn't look it up though, so maybe. And then let's see, there's a mafia in the book that's part of Larry Vaughn's persistence to keep the beaches open. The mafia owns a lot of the beach houses in the town, and they're under Larry Vaughn's name. So he, his wife was sick and needed various treatments, and he needed money, so he made a deal with the devil, and they put him down as his name. Like, they put his name down on all the properties, and he was owing the money because nothing was selling, nothing was booking.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of where the pressure came in, and the mafia went even as far to kill Brody's cat to kind of open the beaches. I'm gonna kill your cat,
Oh my god.
So there's a little bit of that into it, which is it just wasn't like, this book is not about that. Like, it didn't feel like.
Yeah, that seems a little silly.
It was very silly, but it was still fun to read.
The vacation town relying on vacationers is kind of enough, I feel like, because that's a very modern necessity for some towns.
Yeah, it's just like 75% of like their winter.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, so many countries are supported by tourism.
Yeah, so the mafia angle just it didn't need to be there.
Yeah, that seems like that gets a little silly.
It was still fun, and like Larry's like trying to hide, and he's like, I'm leaving, and it wasn't too important. It just completely wasn't necessary, but it was there, and I'm glad they didn't put that in the movie either. That would have been, if it was already forced in the book, it would have been super forced in the film.
Yeah, they had a vision with the movie. That's crazy. I did not know Jaws was a book. The movie's many times more famous.
Yeah, for sure, and
for a variety of reasons.
I guess it didn't even let the book fly on its own because they came out at practically the same time.
Yeah, they definitely didn't complement each other's sales, I would imagine, on the level, comparatively, because Jaws is just at the time there was just nothing else like it, so I can't imagine the book holding much of a candle to that.
Yeah,
I imagine the book was probably more successful with the movie because of the movie than it otherwise, because otherwise it would have just been probably another fiction book that was released into the wild and had to fight for its own, but it had that movie.
Yeah,
because I wonder when they were promoting it, were they, how we used to get a lot of that, inspired by the classic book or whatever, stuff like that. I wonder if it had that thing going for it too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although it wasn't a classic book because it came out 6 months before.
That's true.
But they would have said that, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the book had some of the darker elements. Like it told you like the first girl got her I think her arm eaten first, and then she like went down and touched and saw that her arm was missing, and she's like freaking out, and then the little boy, like he like looked down and his torso was gone, and like or like the his legs were gone and all he saw was his torso. So I mean, awesome. it had that, which I like that. Yeah. Like the nub and the blood and but
and again, I think Spielberg is a little tamed in that department too. He doesn't like that super graphic gore and stuff, because it can be a little spectacle oriented and Spielberg is not about the spectacles.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't. The most spectacle-oriented movie he has made is probably Jurassic Park, and that's you know, it's kind of warranted because it's kind of, you know, a cautionary tale. So you have to.
That's true.
Kind of put that on its head, or put that up in the front row, I guess, because you kind of need to be, you know, scared on some level.
Yeah. Or
at least feel guilty of what you've created.
No, for sure. I mean,
although that would have been cool in the movie, and we get a little bit of an exaggerated deaths in the movie, because that girl in the very beginning, she like gets grabbed and she's like swirling around in the water and stuff, and it's like really kind of fun. And then I think when the little boy dies, or was it a little girl in the movie?
It was a little boy, Alex.
When Alex dies, all that blood splurts up, you know, like a big fucking fountain of blood coming out, and it's like, I don't think that would happen like that in real life, so I appreciate the exaggerated nature of it, because it builds to the exaggerated, you know, nature of this particular shark.
Mm-hmm. Because he is. Because
I mean, because I think he's, you know, he's kind of representative of an unstoppable, evil, eating force, killing force, just psychotic on one level, you know, but you know, intelligent. Obviously, you know, I don't think anyone's going to question these evil forces not being intelligent. I think most evil things are probably extremely smart.
That's true.
So, kind of one needs the other on some level. But
I don't know. I would like to see a remake.
I could see a remake being awesome of this.
Closer
I really could.
Towards the book elements. I think I would want to see that. I would want to see the gore, the person looking down, her hand's missing, and she's still alive. Or
but would you want Brody's whole angle, midlife crisis, Helen and him's failing marital problems, and
I think
Hooper being sexy, and Quint maybe not being as important?
I would want that, but I would want the Quint being a bigger role. I think he's too important for it not to be. I would want the marital problems.
Yeah.
I would not want mafia elements.
Yeah, that would be silly.
But like the sheep and the baby dolphin, and
that'd be good. Yeah, I could see
that would be good.
I could see the added elements of a little more graphic and horror, maybe a little more raunchy with jokes and stuff here and there, and then like the bait, the sheep, the dolphin embryo, and that could be fun. But
I don't know if I would want more shark, because the book and both the film we don't see a lot of the shark.
Yeah,
we get perspective, you know, like the underwater camera looking up at the girl's legs.
Yeah, legendary shots.
Yeah, but we don't see the shark.
How genius can you get? You know, all these feet and legs underwater kicking and stuff, and there's just shark moving like back and forth serpentine, and just like it's spooky stuff.
And like in the book, it's very similar in the way that it's like, and the tension changed in the room, like kind of deal. So, you know, it wasn't like, here's a shark and here's where he swam to. It was very like, you know, little Alex is floating on his raft and all of a sudden his leg gets pulled in. So, you know, I think they kept that the same.
That's good.
So I don't know if a remake I would want more shark, or if I would still want some of those like hidden.
Yeah, definitely. I would say not more shark. Less is more in those kinds of situations. Gotta build that shit up.
Yeah.
Earn it. We earned that shark tearing apart Quint at the end, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, sure, he doesn't look amazing. He still looks really good for 1975. Without glasses, he probably looks, you know, as good as it gets. But he, sure, he could look a little better. Like, if you touched him up with, use basically the same shark and touch him up with some CG, he'll be, you know, he'll be timeless after that. But we earned that scene of him destroying the boat and ripping apart Quint.
I think the first time we see him in the film is when Brody is dumping out the chum,
which is awesome.
And then he's looking, talking to Quint, and then
yeah, we see it before him, just by a split second. But like, it's so perfect.
Yeah,
like
it's perfect.
That weird, you know, he's like not center, and he's like it's like your eyes are just drawn to that open water. Just
Yeah.
obviously because of the shark, you're anticipating it, but like he's not looking like, look, Brody. It's like when someone's not, like if someone's looking at their phone on the road or something, it's a fucking stop sign or a stoplight, and you're like in the passenger seat, like, what are you doing?
Oh, God. And that's in the book too, so I like that.
That bit is in the book. That's good. That's perfect. Yeah, that's good.
And Quint's like, oh, Bub's like, look.
That's funny.
He's the passenger.
Yeah. I could see a remake happening.
Yeah.
At some point. There's so many remakes going out. I think they've already moved on with the Harry Potter series coming to HBO. We'll be seeing that here in the next 24 months, I think. The first season.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be, obviously it has the potential to be awesome. Because we're going to get, 8 to 10 episodes. And they want to go 7 seasons. And they want to spend at least as much as the later seasons of Game of Thrones.
I don't know. I think they missed
the window.
They're
going to try to create a new window.
Yeah, no. That window's gone. Like,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Me, I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. But I don't know. I'm not excited.
Yeah, it's until we see that first trailer, it's going to be hard to be excited for this because, man, those kids, Dumbledore, Hagrid, how or what are they going to do, man?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because, like, just the performances, especially early on, those first 3 movies are so good, performance-wise.
Yeah, and then are they going to try to keep it, for family friendly? Like, I know Harry Potter's not very explicit, but
I doubt it because it's gonna be on HBO. Nothing on HBO is family friendly, like that kind of family friendly. It's probably gonna be a little, what were the movies, PG and then maybe PG-13 later. I would suspect these all to be that TV-14 or whatever, maybe MA. I wouldn't be totally surprised by an MA rating.
Okay.
I could see it being a little more graphic at the very least.
Because, the books are pretty graphic.
Yeah, I would like to see some spells
especially
fuck someone up. Or the disapparate, whatever. What is it? When they splice? Like, if they don't do it right.
Oh, splinching?
Splinching,
yes.
yeah. That would be sick.
Yeah, and, like, I was going to say, like, towards the later of the books, when, Voldemort comes back, so maybe Order of the Phoenix and up, there's a lot of deaths.
Yeah. And they could.
And people, they're dying. Everyone's dying. And I think the movies try to give it that with the darkness.
Yeah. And it's a lot, too, happening. And just, I know they split up the movies, too, but, like, it's so much.
They only split up the last one. They should have split all of them up.
But that's one of the cool things that we might get here, or we're definitely going to get if they can somewhat pull this off, is we'll get, 8 to 10 hours for each.
Yeah,
book.
Hopefully they got some big Harry Potter nerds like me, and
not the people who wrote Velma.
Yeah, exactly.
I
hope
or
they're
House of
nowhere
Dragon.
near any of this, or House of Dragons.
Yes,
keep those people away. Get some big Harry Potter nerds, the people who know, they read and reread and reread the books.
There's a lot of them.
Get those people there in your brainstorming sessions, at least.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them wouldn't even care to get paid or not. I wouldn't. I would just want to sit there and get my ideas heard.
Facts.
So
yes.
Hopefully, but again, I'm not.
Yeah.
And like you said, unless we get a trailer, I'm not.
Yeah, they
happy.
gotta prove themselves. I'm happy to watch the first few episodes, but don't waste my time like House of Dragon. Never watching that shit again. I don't know if I'm gonna watch Snow, the new Game of Thrones spinoff. I don't know if I'm gonna be watching that. Maybe the first episode, but we'll see.
We'll see.
They just waste so much on HBO. HBO is not a good place, I don't think.
Do you have any final thoughts on Jaws? I don't think this is which one is better, like Ender's Game was, because it was pretty much beat for beat what happened in the book, what happened in the film, or tried at least.
They're companion pieces. It sounds like these are totally companion pieces.
But they're different. You can't pick which one was better. In a way,
like The Shining.
Jaws, the film was better because you just get shark, you just get monster, and I'm a sucker for those kinds of movies. I don't want the human emotion. I don't want the, if you're gonna make a movie about a big scary thing, I want as much of that big scary thing as possible, or whatever that big scary thing is doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I'd maybe argue that the movie is perfect.
Yeah.
Shot for shot, dialogue, like direction. It's not one of my favorite films. It's not probably my top 20 or anything, but it's...
Take that back.
It might be. I'd have to write that down.
Okay.
It might be by process of elimination, but it definitely doesn't come to mind. It's definitely not my top 10 or anything.
I would.
But it's an excellent, excellent film. And just, I can't think... I'd have to rewatch it and think about every single scene and see how necessary everything was. But everything seems so in place. So in place. It's so exceptionally made. And it sounds like, just I guess, comparing that, just the master craftedness compared to the book, sounds like there was a lot of weird angles taken in the book.
Yeah.
With like the mafia and the even maybe some of the family dynamic between Brody and Ellen. That seems a little... It's just different. It's weird. I like it though. I like how different they are though.
Yeah.
It seems like they took a good angle.
Definitely.
It's weird that it came out only a few months after though, less than a year after or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
about
cool.
a year and a few months.
I wonder how that came to be. That's crazy.
Definitely an inspiration, not a full adaptation. Just a...
Yeah. What is the definition of adaptation? I would.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like 3 levels of it. There's your Ender's Game, trying to fit as much as possible, or your Harry Potter's, where they like it's heavily based on the books.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this and The Shining and A Clockwork Orange, where they take the overarching premise in its entirety, but they come at it from a completely different or specific angle is in the book, but it is what the movie is. It's
right.
And then there's your
like Romeo and Juliet's that are...
And then there's Romeo and Juliet
very
that
many.
Yeah, like West Side Story. It's not Romeo and Juliet, but it is. It's completely. I guess that's the inspired part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or level 3 or 1, whatever direction you want to go
like
with
the
adapted.
Leo one, and I don't know
Leo
who the
one?
girl is. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
He's in a
Romeo and Juliet.
and Juliet movie, and that's kind of an inspiration because they have a lot of modern things in it. So it's very...
Is Titanic kind of Romeo and Juliet?
No. I'd have to think about that. I don't think so.
Yeah, especially because what's the guy's name? What's Leo's character's name?
Jack.
Especially because Jack is he's just a fiction of her mind, of Rose's mind anyway. He wasn't even real.
He wasn't even real. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, and maybe we'll do one on Jurassic Park, because I read the book semi recently, and those have a lot of elements.
Yeah, I imagine I imagine the book is probably a cautionary tale too.
Yes.
It seems like that's hard to avoid in that scenario. But I imagine I would be willing to bet the second Jurassic Park book is not very good. Just like the movie.
Yeah.
I bet you they're probably the same in that way too.
Yeah, I think when I read it, there were a lot of elements that I'm like, why did they do this and not this? So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because the movie's 100% cautionary tale. They really, because they in the movie, well, I guess we'll get into it later probably, but another episode. But isn't the main bad guy who's in Jurassic World?
Yes.
He's like a main figure in the book,
in the first
Jurassic Park,
mm-hmm.
but he's like a mega side character in the movie.
Yeah.
Because they're just trying to get you into the cautionary tale part.
Yeah. I think the chapter starts out with him.
Yeah. I think that
the first chapter.
The movie does too.
Hmm.
Aren't they sitting there at the table? Doesn't that happen at the very, very beginning? The big guy with the barber soul can. Doesn't it happen right at the very beginning?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I have to rewatch it. That's a movie I could watch pretty regularly.
Yeah, me too.
Not the others though. Jurassic Park 2, 3, Jurassic Worlds, Garbo. I'd rather eat spoons.
Well, that's your opinion, you Filmstein, because I would rewatch all of them, especially that last one where they all...
Dominion?
Huh? Yeah,
The
where
most
they
recent
all
one? Oh my God.
met each other, and I'm like, yay!
It's not as bad as the one that came out before that, but I didn't like it. The one that came out before that, they introduced the girl, the clone girl, and
Oh yeah, that was
and they
weird.
go at the mansion.
But I liked it.
That was unbelievably bad. I could not believe how bad that was. Spielberg is probably at this point embarrassed to have ever been attached to Jurassic Park. But great movie though.
Well, there's at least one fan out there.
Right here.
Or
in
two,
front of
me and Richard. Didn't he love him?
Richard
Didn't he like
him.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Not everyone needs to be a fan.
I can't believe he hates CG movies. But he's a...
Everyone likes dinosaurs. You can't go too wrong with a dinosaur movie unless it's a good dinosaur.
And that was better than I remembered, but not very good still.
Yeah, still not very good. Nope.
It's about as good as a lot of the Pixar movies, to be honest. I would say a third of the Pixar movies sit around good dinosaur.
No, I don't agree with that statement.
I don't think there's very many good Pixar movies.
I don't agree with your statement, but I'd have to list them. I'd have to rate them and list them and see. Maybe we could do a small episode
About all the
or
Who's King? Which Pixar movie?
or order.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Well, thank you for telling me that Jaws is a book.
You're welcome. I think in the movie, when the opening.
Is it in
the opening?
Is it in the movie?
Yeah, it says inspired by
Peter.
Peter.
It says it. Okay, I thought you were gonna say the book was in on Brody's desk or something.
Oh no, that'd be funny.
That would have been cute.
No,
yeah.
no. In the opening credits.
Okay.
It says inspired by Peter Benchley's.
Yeah, I wonder how many people even know that.
I didn't know until after I knew there was a book. And then yeah. Because I think I knew there was the book before we watched the movie. So I had that little secret in the back of my mind.
Oh, okay. Did you learn something?
Did I learn something? Yes.
Anything? Did you learn anything in the last 24 hours?
Maybe. I don't know. What did I learn? I don't know what I learned.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure I learned something.
I learned that in WWE 2K22, when there are multiple people in the ring, I feel like the game doesn't work as well.
Oh, you mean learned anything in general?
Literally anything, yeah.
Oh. Well, I learned that, a thermometer works best when it's done rectal
that's a good
than
one.
orally.
Yeah, that's
because
good to
there's
know.
a 1 degree difference when you do it oral. So
you can just, it's like I guess it's just literally a standard deviation. You can just add that on top.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? What do you also learn by proxy or by a corollary of that? You don't share thermometers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
But thank you for sharing with me all these nice details about Jaws, written by Peter
Benchley.
I was thinking Kate Blanchett. That was in my head, yeah. Okay. I learned a lot.
Good.
I appreciate another duo of medium like that. That's fun. I really appreciate the different angles, because it just demonstrates a sense of competence, of intellectual and creative integrity and honesty, and just I love it so much. Whether they both suck, I would still appreciate it. Even if they both sucked, I would still appreciate that level, because that tells me there's a real creative hand at play here, and I like that. I like that a lot. And we have 2 winners. It sounds like the book was good.
The book was good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It's hard to beat Quint.
It's
hard
so
to beat Quint. He's a legend of cinema. And rest in peace, Robert Shaw, man.
I know.
He is. I don't know. I'm sure he's in some other good films. I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything else, but
yeah, and especially dressed like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, unrecognizable probably to a Robert Shaw fan at the time. Any final things you need to tell me?
Thoughts?
Any final thoughts
Nope.
that you need to tell me?
No final thoughts. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Do we have a teaser?
A teaser. Yes, the book is better than the movie. Is that a teaser?
Nope. I'd say most books are probably better than movies. I think I say that because I think most books that are turned into a movie, because there's not an actual decent source material at play there. I think there's probably more bad books out there in the wild just because there's, anyone can write a book. Not anyone can make a movie.
That's true.
But
how about magic? Magic. That's my teaser.
Okay.
That's my teaser.
Okay.
Magic.
That's magic.
I'll go with that.
As you give more teasers, you're gonna have to narrow down your teaser.
My teaser.
You can't say magic ever again now.
Oh no. That makes sense though.
Yeah.
That's because if I say magic next time, I'll be like, wait, she already did that. So.
Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah, that is lame.
Okay, so come up with a good teaser for the next one. Magic. I already know what it is.
You do?
Should I say it?
Yeah.
My guess.
You can say your
I
guess.
don't actually know, but my guess is Aragon.
Good guess, but you're wrong.
Dang. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea then. How to Train Your Dragon?
I'm just kidding. You're right.
Oh, it's Aragon?
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch the movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, you needed to know anyway, because we need to watch the movie.
Yeah, I would have been suspicious watching this piece of shit movie. I know it's bad, but I don't know how bad.
Let's watch Aragon. Why?
Because that's my favorite movie.
And then you would have known the lie.
Yeah. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines signing off.